Hello there, and welcome back to episode 2 of my tutorial series for Mind Over Magic. Today we will explore the secrets of the long-term survival of your school. We're going to introduce farming. I'm going to talk about the status and conviction system. We're going to introduce a proper bedroom, no longer this little monstrosity here. I will talk about the room system as a whole, and I hope that by the end of this episode I have nailed down all the necessary things that you'll require to pretty much stay in a perpetual state of survival where you can constantly push back the fog to a point where you can get the resources you require and have a school that is stable enough to not drive everybody immediately insane. Okay, steep goals. Let's get going. First of all, I want to get my research towards the next point, and that is put stuff here. Alternatively, if you don't have value chests as much as I do, I can strongly recommend to go for the gourmet technology, as this will allow us to cook meals properly, process carcasses, but for starters, I find this much more accessible and easily useful. We have also unlocked the gutberry planters in the last episode. We're going to work with these as a pretty much next thing. For all of our upcoming projects, we will require lots of stone and wood, so we really need to keep harvesting this stuff however we can. Stone is something that will not regrow. Everything else will regrow, but don't you worry, stone is available in large enough numbers, and there is really no problem in having enough stone, as every resource gets refunded if we have to tear something down. Okay, so I want to talk about students, status and conviction. Oh yeah, and the medallions as well. Of course, but let's go over to the status and convictions things next. While our student here is learning, he has a lot of different meters that define his well-being. From how hungry, how sleepy, how much learning he got. You see there's a lot of things going on. There's also recreation. So to enable recreation, we go over here into the schedules menu, click recreation, and we skip out that last hour of cleaning in favor of a little bit of recreational time. We do that like this for students and for staff, as this is something you can do. Feel free to add things as you see to your own liking. We will go over these menus a little bit deeper in the course of the series. For starters, I feel like it is a really cool thing to add in a little bit of recreational time for your folks. So, that being said, let's get back into this. The conviction is your moral. If conviction goes down, you head on to a break. If you suffer through a break, you will lose one of your death counters. If you are a fully learned mage, you have death saves. If you are a student, you probably have none. A mental breakdown is therefore deadly. So you should really try to keep your people happy. And when we check out the influences here, if you come from games like RimWorld, this moodlet system will look very familiar to you. You notice there's various different things at work here. Slept on the floor is a big no-no, but luckily we have bed number 3 already going on, so that won't happen again. We summoned him during the night, so that wasn't too smart, obviously. And slept outside of bedroom, we're going to fix that too, as I will introduce the room system as well. Students also come with a medallions and trials system. These are obtainable perks. I think this is the easiest way to describe what this does. If you check back with your staff, they have already 2 of these medallions fulfilled, and if you are a student, each of these medallions is first a trial, which then transforms into a medallion. So here he obviously has finished that one already. I think this was a quest to learn stuff while you're craving for recreation, and as you see here, the student now has more HP and spell power. The other one here requires him to eat in a mess hall for 10 times, boosts HP and mana, and these one here will be fulfilled if we let him eat for 2 days without growing hungry. Then we will receive a +1 to Earth skill cap. These are always random. There's always a random mixture of things, and if you summon a gifted student later down the road, the tests will also become significantly harder. So this is a way to hire ultimately more powerful mages, because if we look at our starting mages, they only come with 2 of these medallions. So we can already see that this guy here has the potential to outgrow his teachers already. You just need to have all these tests done. The good part about this is all these bronze medallions aren't too hard to fulfill. Basically, every properly geared out school should be able to fulfill these tasks quite easily, as they mostly revolve around rooms and services. Which brings me nicely to the next topic, rooms. You see down here is a room type menu. If you click that, your screen changes into this, where you get a readout about what designation each room has. We already have a designated room, or basic classroom, suffers from -3 luxury, and provides a bonus to learning rate because it's a classroom. You notice also what's providing the minus luxury or the positive luxury. Obviously, having a roof above you is counted as luxury, and this also gives you a readout about what's going on in this room. Schoolrooms are just generic rooms. Down here, rooms that have no labeling whatsoever cannot be changed. This is just a room, and its purpose will be always that funky crypt down here. If we want a bedroom, though, we need to check out down here that register. We click in there, and then we get a readout about all the different types of bedrooms, what kind of conviction bonus they give. As you see here, there are various bonuses to that, and what kind of requirements that room has. So this type of bedroom here needs to be elevated and has to have 1 bed and no furniture which is not related to sleeping. Easy enough. Private quarters need to have a lot of luxury, need to be private and lofted, need to have 3 or more windows, 1 or more large window. You see there's a lot of things to go through, but it is a highly, highly effective sleeping room. Only topped by the bed chamber, which must have 60 luxury and so on and so forth. So for starters, the austere bedroom is pretty nice, as it usually only has 1 requirement and provides a moderate bonus to everybody. Alternatively, you could go for a dormitory for your students, as this is pretty powerful, and bedrooms for your staff. It's up to you how you want to put it up. I want to go for this solution here. Also, I want to mention that the necessary keywords for these rooms will be shuffled up with each and every run. If you play with the same seed as I do, I assume that you will have the same keywords as I do, but if you don't, or if you just fire up the next game, the requirements for these rooms will be always different in each run, resulting in different schools, which is an amazing feature. I love this. There is no perfect optimal way of building a school, therefore, except for the one that comes with your requirements. So cookie cutter solutions are not that applicable. I love these guys for that. So we're going to try and get ourselves an elevated bedroom today, as this is going to provide conviction to everybody sleeping in there, and over the course of the series we will expand into a dormitory and a bedroom, and we will of course explore all the other different room types here as well, as these provide substantial bonuses. A workshop, for example, would be already pretty cool for us, as we would be researching and crafting faster there. We would need to have a lofted room. So you might already ask yourself, what about these bold written words that don't have too much of a explanation to them? Down here you can see what they need from you. So a lofted room has to be taller than he is wide, which is already doable. It's a little bit iffy, but nothing too terrible. An elevated room needs no adjacent rooms or foundations below itself. So that's where things get tricky. We will always have some sort of a room below ourselves. We could build an empty floor there, but that would also be not too good. The easiest way to get that done is we are going to build a room that is outside of our school. And I love the idea of this little project, as it shows you quite nicely what you can do with this game. So we're going to go and, not wall, I'm sorry, we're going to draw floor first, just like that. And as you see there, There is, well, we're being blocked by a tree here, because it is in the tree's growth rate, but you shouldn't go too far out here. We can real quickly destroy that tree. Should not do that too often, but I want to show you the stability system here real quick, so let's take out that poor little tree. There we go. And then we can do this like that. So as you see here, eventually this yellow stuff is already not stable anymore. So we go for this, as this is the last stable spot. And then we put up a couple of walls, just like here and there. Put in a door. Well, it's blocked by the roof right now, so we go into the demolish menu and demolish these. And we should, of course, research something new, as we have researched the chests. So we're going to research eating. That's also very important. And as you see here, we're now demolishing the old parts that were a problem. And new parts will be snuck in. Well, alright, can't build the door right now. But as you see here, this is still stable. For starters, this is pretty much as far as you will be able to go. Later in the game, we will unlock technologies that allow us to go further than that. So this is not where we're going to end. So in between all this madness, we're going to build another wonderful little thing that we've unlocked, and that's the gutberry planter. The gutberry planter takes really a large amount of stone from you. 16 stone is really a lot. And it also takes 1 gutberry seed, which you will receive from pretty much all the things you do. And then you just have a neat and nice gutberry farm, just like that. You don't need more than that to now automatically grow your own food. And personally, I run like 2 or 3 of these, preferably, as we then don't have to worry about it anymore. All you need to do is put it on a very high priority, so people will always come and put a seed in there to plan it out. And then all we need to do is we need to wait. Its growth rate is 300%, as it is powered by nature magic. Unlike these growing outside, the cultivated plant is growing much, much faster. And this is a huge advantage over the regular gutberries that are just growing outside. Alright, in the meantime, down over here, they're done with that part, so we can finally sneak in a door here. And we're going to sneak in a roof, keeping the roof rather low here. And adding in another bit of roof like that, keeping it on the low end here as well. And the first rain is incoming. So rain is the destroyer of goods. Rain can be countered by putting things into chests. Chests can be built with wood, stone, and smoke sticks. So for today, we're just going to accept the fact that we will be losing a couple of things. It is by all means really no, not the end of the world or terribly horrible if you end up with rain in if you end up with the first rain being not prepared for that. All the other things like sleeping rooms and the like are much, much more important. So we're pushing back the fog one more time. Our research here has been completed as well. So we're moving on to Shine On, which is not a technology that we need too much. It provides lamps where you can recharge your mana at, which is early on really not that useful at all. Oh, our poor student is sleeping on the floor yet again because we have moved his bed. Silly old me, but whatever. And now the rain falls. Just didn't want him to sleep out there in the rain. Alright. So, next step. we move one of these beds over here. And we need to put up a bit more lighting, so more rats need to die. And as you see here, there's a lot of -3s popping up now, and things get destroyed by water. We can avoid that by just having chests where things can be stored at, but it is not the end of the world. So, congratulations us! We have our first austere bedroom, and now we are able to provide proper conviction while sleeping. We might have messed up the first few days for our poor people, but it'll be fine from here on, at least with the sleeping. So the rain subsides. As you see there, a couple of gut berries got destroyed. We are a little bit low on them, so we might be wanting to harvest those back there today with a very high priority. So food is going to be available rather quickly. There we go. This one will be harvestable soon as well. We just put up another one of them right next to this one. There we go. And after a couple of attempts, runs, whatever, we will have enough food for everybody going on here. So let's harvest a couple of smoke reeds for the smoke sticks we require for the chests. So we can finally help ourselves also to some proper storage here. Okay, there we go. Let's head back to that. And obviously we require more wood as well. Gut berries, by the way, are massively important for your school in many, many ways. Therefore, these gut berry planters are, in my humble opinion, kind of like the lifeblood for your school. They are so important because we do need them to do our basic ritual. Without these, we will ultimately fall victim to the fog. So that's really bad. Alright, we need more wood and stone and everything for the chests. Which is really annoying, but it is as it is. So we're now moving the remaining bits over to the bedroom here. And we have now researched Shine On. What I'm really after is Light My Fire, which provides us much better lighting opportunities for our school compared to the ones that we got currently. There we go. So now everybody has a proper place to sleep at, and this is already really, really powerful in its own regard. We have a lot of gut berries being harvested. Let's ask for our folks to put a higher priority on stone and wood for a while. Here we go. As we need to push back the fog today, yet again. As we need to do every day. High priority on the cots. And as you see here, researching takes a toll on your workforce. The more you research, the less workforce you got for other things. You do notice that quite severely, especially at the beginning of the game. Therefore, I would say research wisely. Also, foggy crystals can be harvested for all manner of nice little things. I strongly recommend leaving these, though, for later, until you can build yourself a couple of chests. As we saw, these things can decay. By the way, chests are one of the things I personally love to put down here in the basement, as these are pretty cool and nicely stored down here, and until our school grows much, much larger, we won't suffer any logistical issues with that too harshly. Alrighty, so you notice that there are void caps lying around here. I want to get back to the lighting system, and as we see here, this is where void caps are spawning because it's too dark. Void shrooms have one big problem. They drain a little bit of mana. That is not the big issue. They make people unhappy for being drained by a void shroom. It must be a really, really unpleasant feeling. I don't know. Gotta ask those mages for why they hate it so much. Either way, we need to take care, therefore, of the voyage rooms before they hurt the feelings of our esteemed colleagues. Therefore, it is really important to have a good lighting, and that's why I am beelining the research towards there so hard. That's pretty much it. As these lights here, the wall torches, they do their thing, but they have a negative impact on the room's luxury rating, and therefore I really don't like them too much for all it's worth, because they they require you to slaughter tons of rats, and they aren't even good in the long term. Whereas for the thingies that we need, all we need to do is to find phoenix flowers. Where are they? Here, the red ones. Phoenix's Kiss. We need a couple of phoenix flowers and a bit of wood, and that's that. So, with the first chest being completed down here, we are now starting to store things here. So chests work like that. You have 10 slots in here, but these are all reserved for a certain category. So what I'm trying to get towards to is, if one of these slots is filled with gutberry, you can fill in hundreds of gutberries, but that slot will be reserved for gutberry. So you can store 10 different types of item per chest and stack them in there. I don't know if there's a stack size limit. I haven't managed to find it yet, if there is one, but, well, that doesn't mean there is none. I would be surprised if there would be no stack size limit. Either way, this is one hell of a good way to keep your things organized in a way. As you see, the gut berries are being stored now in there, which is just what we require. Now then, we need to get our materials in as the fog is closing in on us again. So, there we go. And as you see here, my mage was starting the work here in the fog and stopped it the moment the fog came to close. So you don't need to worry about your mages getting into any risk or anything like that. They take care of themselves. So let's push back the fog one more time. And for now, I'll keep the research bar empty, because we want to have all of our mages available for a while. So here goes. Floor torches. These bad boys add in 125 light, unlike these guys only 60. So, and they don't emit negative luxury. Their downside, they are braziers, so they will take up ground space instead of wall space. That is actually quite a downside, so we need to work around that, but, well, there is always something, as I like to say. So, let's check back with these. There's a lot of materials that we haven't harvested yet. That's one of the main reasons why I am so keen on not researching right now, because I want to get the harvesting jobs down. Personally, I also think that you can easily sustain 2 students at the beginning of the game. I went just very conservative here because I'm talking so much and explaining so much that I was afraid that things wouldn't be working out as intended. By the way, the elevated room here. When we research more things later, we can expand on that concept. So, for example, there is a technology called Support All the Way Down, which introduces support columns, but also outdoor support columns. So, I hope you're getting you're catching the idea that I'm pointing towards to. That means your school can expand way wider than the foundation would give you the feeling about. But the thing here is, there is now no more sunlight here. You see? It's now shaded. So if you build that way, nothing will grow anymore there. So you're limiting your harvesting and foraging capacities. In all honesty, you don't need to worry that badly about it, but you should be aware of the fact that this is actually a little bit of a downside of building this way. Of course, also you'll need a tremendous amount of iron for doing so, and that is also a resource that is needed in many other things. Okay, so we got all that down for now. We will continue now with these braziers. As you see there, they cost stone and these thingies, and they are, in my opinion, so easily built that they outshine the other torches quite massively, pun intended. The downside here is no Phoenix's Kiss, no braziers, so you are kind of limited. As you see there, we only have 3 of these guys growing here right now. So we should totally go for another fog repulsion ritual. And with this game, it's a really easy equation. The more you push back the fog, the more resource you have available to gather. And as you see here, we are currently only seeing roughly 1/6 of the map. So if we push back a little bit more, who would have thought? A few more of these flowers that we wanted to have. Alright, so back to the lighting menu. This room, well, it will require a bit more than just those braziers, obviously. But since we actually wanted to make this a little bit different, this might be already enough. So let's see, I have enough stone to go for that. And we just put in another wall here. And, well, let's put a door in here. There we go. And here we start now getting ourselves rooms that we can use for various purposes. Which is really one thing that is quite important. So we are going to go now for a gruel pot. So let's make the kitchen here. All right. There we go. So, another thing that we totally should go for in the gardening department. Ah, yeah, we haven't unlocked it yet. So, we will research again, now that the most things are down, into rustic dining. So, rustic dining unlocks another meal type, which is not as disgusting as gutberries, which is a real trend upwards. By the way, 2 gutberry planters are really, really enough. You don't need more than that. And now, with those chests in place, we also have now finally the capability of storing things. But you see there, they aren't acting too smart on the on the distribution of the chests until you configure them. For starters, though, if you are completely new with it all, I would say leave things as they are and worry about it later. Just slap down a couple of chests to begin with, and you will be fine. It is really that simple. Alright. So, we're now moving lights and lanterns. I don't care about this room here, by the way, being completely free. Doesn't matter too much. It is mostly because of the roof here being wonky. Let's see. Maybe we can. Yeah, well, as you see there, this is a bit of a weirdness that I've been running into, and I don't know how to resolve it, so let's see, maybe if I add another piece of wall on top of it, maybe that'll work. Sometimes the roofing system is a little bit wild, but alright. So, once you have unlocked the next technology, you also unlock bitter rice plots. So let's explore this fine thing, and then we're done for today's episode. So at the gruel pot, we can now finally order meals. We can order carcass stew and gutberry soup for beginners. We're ordering carcass stew as something done infinitely for now, so the carcasses will be processed from the rats. That is one way of making them edible. And also, the food from the gruel pot here is not as horrible as eating the gut berries raw. So we're making like something like that. You can also organize them like this. So now we make gutberry soup until we have 5 of them, and the carcass stew as long as we have carcass. So that's how we roll for now. Oh yeah, that piece of wall fixed the trick. So, last but not least, we need more lighting, and as you see here, the quest for lighting is a never-ending story, but I wanted to say one last thing about lighting for today. Go for the ugly lights wherever your students just have to walk through, and try to have luxurious lights early on wherever your students and teachers hang around for a longer period of time. This way you will be able of somewhat having a stable and nice sod. And with this setup here, the stuff that I've been explaining so far, you will have a pretty easy time in staying alive for an indefinite amount of time, as you are now growing your own gut berries. With the next technology, you're also growing bitter rice, which is basically a ingredient for just this bitter gruel, which is just another better food. And from that point on, it is pretty much a self-sustainable thing, unless you push yourself too hard or you just ignore things. Most of the risk in this game comes from pushing further and wanting to achieve more. Surviving is, with the things we have settled down so far, actually not that hard. Alright, so I'll be ending here. There's a ton of things more to explain, but everything at a time. So I hope you found that entertaining and helpful. Feel free to leave me your comments down below. A thumbs up would be appreciated. A subscription would be absolutely amazing. And check out the description box below. You will find a playlist link there for the entirety of the tutorial series. And check out also, if you'd be so kind, the links to Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee, as these are the best ways and means to support this channel. We're going to explore more of the systems in the next episode. The priority system I will explain a little bit deeper. We will go for lots of other things in between, and I'm very, very happy once we get there. See you all there. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.